My friend Spencer sent me his custom LEGO Star Wars Republic Gunship to do a review for you guys, and if you are interested after watching this video and you like the model and want to try to build it for yourself, down below I'll have it linked to go ahead and buy the instructions from his site. I'm not being paid for this, I don't get any cutback. He's my friend and I agreed to do a video on his gunship for him, so today we're going to build that and take a look at it. And if you enjoy this, make sure you leave a like, and maybe this is kind of like an alternative to a UCS gunship, so this is also maybe a thing that, hey, maybe you see it and you're like, well, I don't know. And maybe in 2021, when the UCS gunship comes out, if you don't like what you see there, you come in and you go for something like this. That's what I think this is, something that is like a good alternative for. But you can definitely also have both if you want both. But the instructions do cost $10, so pretty normal standard for what custom instructions go for in the LEGO space. There are a lot of people that sell custom instructions, and this is kind of just another one of those. It has 2,414 pieces, which is a lot. On top of that, the instructions do cost $10, which is pretty standard for the custom instructions realm, if not actually a little bit on the cheaper side for how big and complex of a model it is. And this is a custom model, so do keep in mind that it might not be as strong of a build as a LEGO set, and it certainly will be more intricate and different and kind of tricky to build in a way, I expect, at least based on my limited experience with custom models. But I'm very much looking forward to that, so let's build this up and see how good it actually is. And here's the finished gunship model from LEGO Spencer. It looks magnificent. There are so few studs showing on the exterior of this thing, and we'll get into the design, but first I want to talk a little bit about the build process. It is an extremely long build, coming in at over 2,000 pieces, and obviously if you're going to be ordering these pieces from Bricklink and whatnot, they aren't going to come in numbered bags. So it's just one of those builds where you can sort by color and everything, but it's still going to take you a while to get the product done. I believe it had about 800 steps. It was quite the trip for me, and it probably is the most difficult thing I've ever built in LEGO, or at least the most like mentally challenging one that I, wanted to give up at certain points. And it doesn't really happen with LEGO sets, and there's a reason for that, right? Because custom LEGO sets don't have to go through the same like rigorous tests and things like that LEGO puts their sets through to make sure that like kids can play with them. This gunship is not that. It is definitely not a playset. It's very much something you're going to want to put on your shelf and look at. So when you compare it to a LEGO set, you're really comparing to apples to oranges. But that being said, we will bring in a regular LEGO gunship to take a look at the differences. And before we do that, let's take a look at the actual custom gunship that Spencer has presented us with here today. It is magnificent looking. It definitely has some angles that make you just go, oh my god, that is beautiful, and this is certainly one of them to me. It just has such a clean look about it, with the very minimalistic look as far as the approach to studs on the outsides go. LEGO will sometimes, go out of their way to add more studs to the exterior of a thing so that when people look at it, they know it's a LEGO set. And maybe you and I can look at this and know it's a LEGO set, but it does look a lot more like a model than a LEGO set, which is not a bad thing in this case. That's what you're looking for. You can see the front end of it with the lime green looks great. Lime green, of course, the front end color of the gunship. The bubble turrets on the front can move. That's a normal thing with those pieces, but you're probably going to just leave them locked in place. This set doesn't have any sort of carrying handle as you move kind of up the spine of the set because, like I said, it's a display set. You're not going to be picking it up to play with, and so picking it up can certainly be a challenge. You're going to want to pick it up from somewhere in the midsection for sure. The engines on top provide a very accurate look, as well as a little bit of pink on the backside there to show some thrust. And then as far as the missiles on top go, excellent job. I mean, it's such a nice, clean design, really flows over the top of the design there, kind of keeps the roundedness of the spine, but obviously breaks up the design because it's a real big change in color there with the silvery gray. And these don't fire off or anything. I mean, you can pull them off and shoot them off, but it's certainly not a play feature. That's just the way the gunship is supposed to look, and it's definitely better than, say, the flick-fire missiles of LEGO Republic gunships of years past from the actual LEGO sets. A little hint of yellow. I really like the detail here on the very back end of the ship, with the, I don't know, kind of Technic rod pieces that run through there to hold them together. It's a very interesting design as you go through and build it for sure. Like I said, one of the more difficult ones I've ever built. Back up front to the cockpit, you can actually open up both of these by pulling them off. If you do want to put figures inside, there are studs there for them to sit in. There's a control panel on the back side. There's also a control panel for the front pilot, and you get a little insight into how crazy the design is there when you can see what's going on right in front of the pilot's feet. So one more good look at the side of the ship. Again, that just really clean look to it with no stud showing is beautiful. Now, these panels on the side do not open up. So in LEGO Gunships, they would open up and you'd be able to, you know, put figures or a little mobile command center in there, whatever the case may be. In this case, this is just a solid white wall, essentially, that doesn't open or do anything. Now, the actual doors for the gunship do open, and you can pull them away like this and out. It's kind of a weak connection. Again, this is just very much a mock purely for looks, so some things you may find to be weak connection-wise. And here's the back door, slides right on out and open, hopefully without breaking. There we go. And with the door open, you get a slight insight to the interior here, and this is where I actually have my biggest problem with the design of this thing. And I'm no expert, obviously. I probably couldn't make this any better myself, but the backside of the gunship, while so heavy, does not really have a pillar or anything holding it up. So what you'll notice is the backside of the ship, like I said, there's just really no support there. And so when you put the gunship down, you'll notice that the whole backside is kind of going to crumple down a little bit there. And like I said, it's just because there's no support like up under there, and that is something that is an issue with this set for one big reason that I've had. You can just see how it kind of crumples down. So you can see these back pillars or support beams here, and this is really all there is to support the back of the set here, and it's not very strong. It often breaks apart on me. I have it kind of folding in already there. You can see kind of collapsing in on its own weight. Now, one kind of neat fact of this is that the door at the back does open, but that's kind of another issue there because you can see, having opened it, it's already trying to break away. Like, that thing falls right out of its place there in the back very easily, which is really unfortunate. It's kind of the weakest part of the design of this set to me. Now, if you can get it to just stay and look good, kind of like it is now, and not touch it, you're going to be set. But if you touch this thing, it is bound to fall apart, especially in this back section. And there's also a little back turret here. Now, maybe even a bigger issue than those collapsing for me was this whole back section here, this like triangular shaped item, really fell off a lot on me when I had finished the model. And that was really sad. I'm not sure if there's an easy fix to the connection inside, but for whatever reason, I could not really get it to stay connected. And as you can tell, I had to end up putting a piece of tape on the top there just so that the set would stay together. Otherwise, we would be having a much tougher time in this video. And that was just something unfortunate. You can't really see the tape, not a big deal, but definitely like not a good move for many LEGO purists like myself to have to use tape, but it is what it is. The wings are really elegant though. You can see the wings have a really nice design. I think they used the 2002 Gunship piece there on the back end just for a little extra detail. Now, obviously, that may be an expensive piece, and if you actually build this yourself, you may want to just bricklink a regular white one, but it is your decision. Regardless, nice little bubble turrets on the side here, and you can see that they actually have the laser cannon design on the inside, which is great, and that's going to be the same thing up underneath. You can kind of get an idea there of what's going on. So really beautiful design as far as that goes. It just finds itself lacking as far as strength and integrity on the backside of the gunship to me. But damn, does this thing look real good. And the stand does come with the set, or as like part of the instructions, I guess. It connects right onto the bottom of that. And here's a great look at the bottom side of the design, still using a completely studless design as much as possible. And it's pretty incredible how good this gunship is as far as the design goes. Again, a lot of my issues come with the strength on the backside here. And I suppose the last thing I really have to mention about this is that there's supposed to be some sort of mesh up underneath that the, clones would hold on to. Unfortunately, I could not get the mesh up under there. I didn't realize it was supposed to go under there, and by the time I did, it was going to be way too hard to take apart. So it is what it is, but there's supposed to be a piece of mesh under there that, clones can hold on to. I think it's certainly important and interesting to compare the gunship to something very similar to what LEGO's set is, and this one is by Republic Bricks. It's a custom Republic Gunship, and you can just see how many more studs are showing, but the difference with what you're getting here is obviously a much more elegant display piece versus something like this, which is something that kind of goes for display and play. It has a very rugged, stronger design. I could not pick up that gunship like that and shake it around and probably break. And that's the difference in custom sets like this. You can go for the elegant look, which is great and wonderful, or you can go for a look that isn't as elegant maybe, but you're still getting a stronger design if that's what you really need. But I think there is something to having the elegant look, most certainly. It would look so great on my shelf back there if I was able to keep it. I'm not actually keeping the one that Spencer sent me, so it won't be going on the shelf back there, but you know it would look good on your shelf, right? Like, that's what you're getting. Versus something that, in much like with the LEGO sets themselves, because this borrows a lot of the LEGO set design, is a stronger design and just not as, like, clean and well-rounded. You can see there's a lot of weird pieces that kind of peek through in some areas that, you know, wouldn't peek through on a design like Spencer's there, like tan inverted plates or tiles. Like, that just doesn't exist on the actual custom UCS style, whatever display gunship there. Should I mention I think the UCS gunship's going to be bigger than this? Because I feel like I should mention that, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, well, would the UCS gunship look like this and be perfect minifigure scale? No, I hope not. I hope it's not as small as this. This is really close to the size, like I said, of the, or showed you, of the regular LEGO set gunship, and I think the UCS one's going to be certainly bigger than this and have more studs showing, because LEGO does not do designs like this. So if you wanted something like this, I wouldn't be worried about, you know, getting something identical from LEGO in a year or so. Just to show you what I'm talking about with this back end, as I was about to do the outro, I picked it up and that's what it looked like. I mean, that's the kind of issue I have with Spencer's gunship, is that just keeps breaking time and time again. And that's not going to be a problem for you, again, if you just display the thing. But if you ever plan on picking it up, just know that you may have a frustrating, like, 10 minutes trying to get it to go back together before you can put it back on display. If you're interested in the instructions for Spencer's gunship, I'll certainly have them linked down below. I think it's a really nice looking model. It is just really fragile, and that is the price you have to pay to get something that looks that nice. By the way, I am missing a piece there, so don't worry about that. That's not part of the design. If you built one yourself, I'd assume you would have that piece. But damn, it's beautiful. It just is really fragile, and like I said, that's kind of what you get. You know, there's a price to pay for everything to make such a nice design, and that's the ultimate price you pay. So like I said, I'll put a link down below. If you guys enjoyed my look at this gunship, a like would be greatly appreciated. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below as well. It may be one of the best looking custom gunships, but it certainly is not the strongest, and I think that's the final say I have on that. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.